You are now listening to Soul Power to the People podcast with Tess Vergara. All right, welcome to Soul Power to the People podcast season 4, where our theme is Awaken Your Divine Leadership. I'm your host, Tess Vergara, and this is episode 3 of season 4 and also day 3 of our 12 Days of Christmas series. And this series is all about opening up and awakening the gifts of Christ within us. It's Christmas time. I'm so glad you're here for it. And so, just a quick recap, we have been laying down the foundations to awaken your divine leadership. And in our first couple of episodes, we explored how to embrace your divine gifts and the power of presence. And today we're going deeper into the power of connection, which goes hand in hand with the power of presence. And why is this important? Because we live in a world that tells us success is about doing more meetings, more people, more tasks. But what we truly need, what we really want, is connection. When I say connection, I don't just mean the kind of connection where you text your friend or you chat with your business team, your leadership team, or with another business owner. I mean the real deep kind of connection, the kind that flows from your soul, the kind of connection that awakens divine energy, purpose, and leadership, heart to heart, soul to soul. And here's what I've learned in a world that often tells us to be self-reliant, superwoman syndrome. True leadership is built on connection, not just with others, but with ourselves and with God. And John in chapter 15, verse 5, reminds us staying connected to the vine, our divine source, ensures we bear much fruit. Apart from God, we can do nothing. Let's take a pause and reflect on that. I am the vine, you are the branches. And just take that in. Take a breath. Because what might happen? What if we truly tap into the power of connection? How would that nourish and sustain our leadership, our purpose, our relationships? How might that impact the way we show up and contribute to the change we as soul-powered leaders are here to make? So just take a moment to ask yourself, what does connection really mean for your leadership? So today we're going to dive into 3 key connections: connection to divine source, connection to yourself, connection to others, because the power of connection creates a flow of divine energy that doesn't just nourish your soul, it elevates everyone around you. And so that's an exciting topic for today. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. So let's start with connection to self, because as a leader, it's easy to feel disconnected, especially in today's world where everything is about busy, productive, constantly on the go, 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 go. And whether you're running a business or leading in any capacity, it's truly easy to lose touch with yourself, your purpose, and even your connection to God. I've seen this in my work with clients, and I honestly, I've experienced it in myself too. And this is why I'm doing the work. This is why I share my story all the time. Because we get swept up in the rush of life, running on autopilot, and before we know it, we no longer could recognize ourselves. We could no longer be in touch with who we really are. what our soul is craving or what lights us up. It becomes so foreign to us. And that's when burnout sets in, the confusion, loneliness, frustration, and we mask it up with a lot of coping mechanisms, addiction. And we're going to talk about that maybe in another episode. But for now, here's the good news. When we reconnect with our authentic self, everything changes. The truth is, if we're not connected to ourselves, we're not connected to our leadership. Connection to yourself is the foundation of authentic leadership. It's about aligning your action with your deepest values and listening to your soul's whispers. And like I said, it goes hand in hand with presence, the power of presence. When you're truly present with yourself, when you reconnect with your soul, you're also reconnecting to the divine source. You're tapping into the divine energy, and that's where your leadership flows from. You're no longer leading out of obligation or pressure, go, 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 but from a deep place of deep purpose. Just like John 15, verse 5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. And when you're connected to the vine, you're grounded, you're centered, and you're able to lead from that place of power. Now, I didn't always understand the concept of connection. There was a time when I felt completely disconnected, even from myself. And I used to joke that I had barbed wires around my heart, trying to prevent people from getting too close to me, trying to protect myself from the world. And maybe you felt that way too, putting up walls to keep yourself safe, and you're not alone. And, it's not your fault. It's a real thing, and we've all been there. But over time, what I realized was the key to true connection is presence. We talked about it in detail in the previous episode. And it's about slowing down and taking the time to realign with your true essence. It's about being okay with quieting the noise and shutting off the external pressures and just sitting still enough to hear your inner voice. Presence is where we reconnect to our soul's wisdom, where we begin to hear the gentle whispers of our soul that guide us. And it's also important to mention self awareness also comes in, being aware of where you are right now. No judgment, just knowing where you are right now, how you're feeling, if you're open to reconnecting with your authentic self. It's the awareness of giving yourself permission to let go of the pressures of life, the expectations of others, and even the awareness of self doubt that's trying to creep in. So, with awareness, with realizing that you're not meant to do this alone, but in connection with God, with others, and most of all, with your soul. I am the vine, you are the branches. We are meant to be connected. Now, I know this is easier said than done, but trust me, once you begin to reconnect with your true self, it's like everything else starts to fall into place. You start leading from a place of authenticity, from a place of alignment, and you stop second guessing yourself. Bye bye, imposter syndrome. You show up as your true self, whole, confident, and aligned. And when you're connected to your authentic self, your leadership is stronger, it's more grounded. You lead with clarity, with purpose, and with a deep sense of peace. Your leadership becomes sustainable, not because you're trying to keep up with everyone else's expectations, but you're stronger. You're grounded in your values and your soul's purpose. So if you're still with me, chances are you're someone who wants to lead from that place of deep authenticity. And I can tell you, it's not always easy, but it's worth it. And I'm here for you. In the end, when you can lead from a place of deep connection to yourself, to your purpose, to God, you'll find that your leadership not only elevates you, but also elevates everyone around you. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. The lasting impact your leadership brings. But for now, let me highlight three key areas here: the power of connection. Leading from a place of deep connection elevates not just yourself, but everyone around you. Your leadership guides your team, your family, your community toward greater purpose and alignment. Authentic leadership, number two. When you're connected to your true self, your leadership is stronger, more grounded, and aligned with your values. And this allows you to stay calm, confident, and purposeful, creating sustainable leadership. And third is the energy and wisdom. Reconnecting with your authentic self taps into a well of energy and wisdom. This alignment enables clarity and decision making, resilience in adversity, and leadership fueled by divine purpose rather than external pressure or temporary goals. And so good. All right, now let's talk about connecting with others. Relationships are key to leadership. However, keep in mind that true connection with others is only possible when we first connect with ourselves. And once we do that, we can deepen our relationships and our impact as leaders. And here's the secret: it's not about how many people you know, it's about the quality of the connections you have. True connection happens when you're fully present with someone, when you're really there with them, not distracted, but fully engaged. And think about it. How often do we have conversations where one person is somewhere else mentally? Maybe you've even felt it yourself when you're in a conversation and your mind is racing with other things. And that lack of presence make connection impossible, especially without self-awareness. Because with self-awareness, we can correct it. We can say, hey, can we reschedule? I just don't have the mind space for it today at this moment. But once I clear this up, I can be there for you, just as I get this taken care of, right? With self-awareness, it's so amazing what we can do to deepen that connection. I want you to remember too that when you're fully present with others, it's not a one-way street. It's two-way. You're giving attention and you're receiving energy too, right? It's two-way, rooted in God's love. And the more we stay connected to that divine source, the more we can give. It's not about forcing connections or overextending ourselves. It's about staying the flow of divine love and allowing that to naturally extend to those around us. Because when you truly connect with others, you build the trust, you foster collaboration, you inspire others to be their best, right? It's not about forcing connection, it's about being present, allowing divine love to flow through, trusting the right people will be drawn to that energy. And this type of connection is what transforms your leadership. It shifts the focus from individual success to collective impact. And when you lead with this kind of connection, you inspire others to show up as their best selves, which amplifies the success of your team or organization. And so finally, let's talk about the most powerful connection of all, our connection to God, which we've been talking about too throughout, because this is the foundation of everything. It's easy to feel disconnected from God sometimes, especially when life gets hectic. You're just doing way too many things. It's overwhelming. And shared in the past couple of episodes, it's exactly why I'm doing this 12 days of Christmas, because I want to be intimate with God. I want to anchor that deep connection with God. So if you are feeling like He's far away or out of reach, and it can happen to anyone, particularly in times of stress, like I said, or even during this busy holiday season, just remember when we center ourselves and stay present with our intention, immediately the door opens up for divine guidance. And so, how do we stay connected to God? Through presence. Presence creates the space for God's guidance. And so, remember what John is reminding us, that staying connected to God is key to bearing fruit in all areas of our lives. Here's a powerful truth I want you to hold on to: God is always speaking, but we can only hear Him when we're fully present. Presence creates the space for His presence. Being present with God doesn't require perfection, it only requires intention. That intention to have that closest intimacy connection with God. Not about being a perfect leader or a good girl or a good boy. It's the intention. It's about being aware that God is always with us, always ready to guide us if we choose. It's an active choice to remain in Him. Remember when I shared in a previous episode about how this work has been my antidote to burnout and depression? And that's caused deep divine connection leads to clearer decision making, which leads to better team dynamics, which leads to more sustainable success. And one more thing to remember is true connection isn't just about action, doing. It's also about rest, rest in the vine. Leaders who rest in God's presence lead with greater clarity, peace, and purpose. Leaders who stay rooted in God's presence are not only aligned with their purpose, but they also lead with clarity, wisdom, and peace. And when you allow divine energy to flow through you, your decisions are inspired by higher vision, your actions become more purposeful, and your leadership becomes divinely empowered. All right, for the final segment, let's talk about the ripple effects, the powerful impact of staying connected. Because when we're rooted in God's presence, that connection flows into everything: our leadership, relationships, family, and businesses. When we stay connected to God, we bear fruit, and that fruit is love, wisdom, and compassion. That divine energy touches everyone around us. It's not about doing more, it's about being more, being present, being connected. The ripple effect of divine connection is powerful. When you're grounded in yourself, others, and God, that energy flows into everything you do. Your leadership impacts not just your team, but the world. By leading from a place of deep connection, you create lasting change that extends far beyond your immediate circle. And this is what transformational leadership looks like: when you lead from connection, your authenticity, compassion, and divine wisdom influence everything around you: your team, business, your community. Your leadership becomes a force for positive change, creating a legacy that goes beyond short term success. So, today I invite you to reflect on where you might be disconnected, whether with yourself, others, or God. How can you bring more presence into your leadership? How can you stay more connected to divine, the source of your strength and purpose? And there are more self reflection questions on my website, but here's a few to get you started. What leadership decisions could be transformed through deeper connection with God and your authentic self? Who in your circle needs your authentic presence today? How can you show up more fully for them? And finally, what is God calling you to release to stay connected to Him and your purpose? I also want to challenge you to take one action today where you consciously bring your presence into your leadership, whether it's a meeting, a conversation, a decision making moment. Let your connection to self, to others, and to God guide your actions. And so, as we close this episode, remember your leadership is shaped by how deeply connected you are with yourself, with others, and with God. Every time you show up with presence, you're strengthening your ability to lead with impact and joy. Leading from connection means you're not just achieving goals, you're transforming lives. Soul powered leaders, the more present you are, the more you tap into the limitless potential available to you. So if today's episode resonated with you, let me know what spoke to you. What did you take away from this? Drop me a message. My social media links are in the show notes. Don't forget to go back to my website where there are self-reflection exercises to help you connect even more deeply with your divine essence. Thank you for tuning in to day 3 of 12 Days of Christmas series. There's so much more to come. Take care. I'll see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Soul Power to the People podcast with Tess Vergara. We can no longer be the spectators of our own destruction. Take back your mind, take back your voice, take back your soul, take back your power. Join me again next time for the next episode of Soul Power to the People.